he was put into prison, maximum security, and apparently he was moved to a new cushy facility in San Luis Obispo for the pure reason that he felt like he was being intimidated. Apparently he got beat up on, but not enough to actually go to the hospital outside of the actual prison itself. They get their name, phone number, and address, and apparently people 30, 40, 50 years later after they did that, they still get mail from Scientology. I need to figure their databasing out because I need that for my business. 40 years follow-up.
Sam Maurer, the Scientology of loans.
Yeah, the Scientology approach.
Has a nice ring
yeah,
to it.
Scientology of Sam Maurer, yeah.
And I'm just picturing them trying to recruit non-English speaking people. They have just these big cue cards with Lord Xenu.
Welcome back, guys. Episode 4. I got my boy back. Finally. I missed you.
Episode 2 with Louis.
Episode 2 with Louis, but episode 4, I think we are already at. Once a week. Catches every single Wednesday at... Be uploaded by 10 a.m. every single Wednesday. So make sure to subscribe. Make sure you don't ever miss seeing our beautiful faces. First of all, I'm feeling pretty rich right now. I have a brand new phone. Feeling good.
Is that the new Android?
The new Android? No, it is the new iPhone 15.
You come across as an Android guy.
Okay. Why do you say that?
A lot of things.
That says a lot for you to...
You're also drinking a pink Ghost energy drink, sour pink lemonade. That goes hand in hand with Android.
Try it.
Yeah.
Try it.
No free ads, though.
No. Tell me that's not good. Yeah, it's good. Damn right it's good.
Tastes like
Yeah.
if I was a girl on her 16th birthday.
Yeah. I don't want to say that's tasting. It doesn't sound right at all.
No, that doesn't. I try to choose my words carefully there, too.
But yeah.
No, it's actually, it's all right.
Isn't it?
If you like just like gargling Splenda,
yeah,
that's what it tastes like.
It's not bad. Yeah. It gets me going. So, hey, whatever it takes. But and I realized that, remember when like getting a new phone was like really a big monument, like a monumental achievement, like you were so excited. I just don't get excited like that anymore.
You're paying for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. You used to get into it for like gifts and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, I like it so far. I'm just learning. And obviously
it's the iPhone, right?
Yeah.
iPhone 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got the camera and everything. I mainly got it for the camera, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you did.
Mm-hmm.
That really good zoom.
Yeah. Okay. What would I use the zoom for?
I'm just saying.
Well, anyways,
see what all the hubbub is about down there.
Okay. Stop it right now. All right. I have a question for you, and I've been waiting for like 2 weeks to ask you this. It's not even real. It's not a dirty question or anything like that. But the question is, who's the first president of the United States?
George Washington.
Incorrect. Did you know we had 9 presidents before George Washington?
Continue.
So it was 1787. 1787 is when he was actually president, but wasn't the Declaration of Independence was signed on 1776.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in between that, what was going on there?
So sorry, the first president was when?
So the first president, George Washington was president, the first of his, I was about to say the first of his reign, but the
first of his name.
Yeah. His first term was starting in 1787. So the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. Okay. So that's 11 years.
And 9 presidents within 11 years?
Yeah. So
11?
It's either 1780.
Conspiracy?
Yeah, it's either 1785 or 1787, but essentially there's 9 presidents that came before him. And the first one was John Hanson. And I think the reason why, it's weird. Why were we taught this? Why weren't we taught this in high school? It's so bizarre to me. I was talking to my dad about this. Like, he asked me 2 weeks ago the same question. And I had the same response, George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it was not.
It is such a dad thing to say.
It is.
Barges into your room.
He came into my he came into my office. He's like, guess what?
Yeah.
What? I'm like, who's the first president? But yeah, apparently there was like 9 or 11. I think it's 9, but I think the reason why they left it out is because it was technically the Articles of Confederation like it was a 1-year term presidents, and there were like a ton before them. But isn't that odd that they did not teach that in high school? Like, why did they leave that out? I feel like
Why do they leave out how to do your taxes, insurance?
I guess you're right.
Mortgage, how to budget, how to do a lot of things.
Well, there's conspiracy to that for sure as
Yeah.
to why they don't teach you how to actually be a business owner, but to be an employee. But the history alone, I guess modern day, we're starting to realize that a lot of things in history weren't really taught properly. I don't know if you were taught this either, that the Republican and Democratic Party switched in the Nixon trials. And I don't know if it was Nixon trials, but they really never did switch. The idea was to switch blame. I don't want to get political, but that's what we were taught, that we switched. We never switched from. Isn't that a weird concept that Democrat and Republican switched? That's just a weird thing to change, but don't want to go too much.
We can't agree on anything. How about I go over there and you come over here?
Yeah.
We'll see how it works.
Yeah. Let's see how maybe your way of life's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
isn't that suddenly like dudes?
Why is I don't know. I'm feeling some type of way today. Yeah, it's weird though. I was just like,
mermaids are white. Shout out Shane Gillis.
Shout out Shane Gillis. God, he's so funny. But man, oh man, I don't know if I told you about it, but I opened your eyes in the world of Scientology. I'm not a Scientologist, but I noticed
it's what you would say if you were a Scientologist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I noticed, I don't know if you guys know, but Danny Masterson, that 70s show, but
Hyde from that 70s show.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Hyde.
I thought you were like, did he, it's like, where is he? But yeah, he was charged for, I'll say, grape. And there's a whole conspiracy between that. But anyways, he was put into prison, maximum security, and apparently he was moved to a new cushy facility in San Luis Obispo, for the pure reason that he felt like he was being intimidated. Apparently he got beat up on, but not enough to actually go to the hospital outside of the actual prison itself.
Okay.
But the reason why I brought up Scientology is because for the longest time, the idea was that, there's documentaries on this. I shared one with you, but I
watched it last night.
Yeah, there is another one to where it talks about how Danny Masterson was just completely protected by the Scientologists for years and years and years. And he has a history of doing this, and women just being silenced and whatnot. But it opened my brain to my brain goes because that's not you even said it yourself, that it's not normal for people to for someone that's in maximum security to get moved to a brand new facility.
And I'm no correctional expert,
Me neither.
But I feel like people get, beat up quite a bit in prison, and they don't feel like, okay, well, I guess now you can go to this one.
And I hate to
if you're, I guess celebrity status might be different. It shouldn't be.
And hell, I'm kind of an eye for an eye for a guy. I'm kind of an eye for an eye kind of guy. And at the end of the day, he did. I think rapists are in the position where it's like eye for an eye,
hole for a hole.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Clipped. But yeah, I honestly believe that. I totally believe in that. But I just don't get beat up on. That's the worst thing you could do, in my opinion. But what do you think? Do you think the Scientologists are behind the movement? I actually want to get your take on the video I sent you about Scientology, because it's really weird.
Yeah. So
Sea Org, you want to go there? Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah. So Sam, last night we were talking about this, and he sent me a link. It's a YouTube video just about Scientology and the kind of conspiracy behind it, but it's also backed up with former members, people who were against it early on, and the history of it. It is bizarre, to say the least.
Super weird. L. Ron Hubbard,
who founded it in 1954.
Yeah.
L. Ron Hubbard was a naval ship captain.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's where the Sea Org became a thing, right? Because he would recruit like his shipmen and shipwomen to in his like little new religion that he was starting, right? That's what it was.
It was really weird.
That burp is gonna sound great in the
I
microphone.
know it's gonna be gross. So sorry, guys, but yeah, it's really really weird, and the fact that I don't know if you know his history, but L. Ron Hubbard, he has the Guinness Book of World Records for the most published books in history. He has over 1,000 books published, and if you read some of his stuff, it is just straight dog shit. Like it is horrible. Like it's like he had the idea of just like, I'm just going to put stuff on the page, but he got his name by doing science fiction writing. And the whole going clear is literally, it was listed in some of his science fiction books. So the idea is he packaged all these different science fiction type topics, packaged it all into a idea, and then put the first published work into effect, which is Dianetics, to going clear. But I think that, which is interesting, I think that around the whole Dianetics thing, it's actually if you look at it from a psychological perspective, it's good. The idea is to face your previous problems and to try and be rid through them. The idea of them is to talk about your worst traumatic experiences. And then from there, you confront it and they give you the ability to erase that out of your mind so you can move forward in your life. That's a fancy way of going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist and talking about your problems and coming to terms with it and moving on.
But weren't they also practicing like mind control techniques?
That's the next step.
Because it is a slippery slope. Like,
yeah.
Hey, we're going to help you out here psychologically.
Yeah.
Just sit down in this chair and put these glasses on.
Yeah. 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 It starts like, it's like with any like weird cultish thing. It's like, it gets you in the door with something that's like, I can be helped. As long as I feel like I can be helped, I'm into that. And then you start realizing how much money you have to spend, and you get to a certain level and threshold of like getting clear, like spending over $50,000 getting clear, and then you still have to go up more rungs to even get there.
But I feel like that's the same thing with a lot of religions. Is people come.
But there's no steps in place that you have to pay for gradually
but I'm saying, I think people get into these types of places just because they are so lost as human beings that they need an answer for something instead of just being like, oh, maybe like I just need to figure my own shit out. It's like, it's a lot easier to pick something, be like, oh, that's going to solve all my problems.
Yeah.
Obviously Scientology is definitely on the more extreme side of that spectrum.
Yeah. Lord Xenu.
Yeah. Tell me about Lord Xenu.
Xenu. Yeah. This one's interesting. It's like, I went down a rabbit hole,
like a fantasy football name.
Yeah. If you want an even better description after I talk about it, look up South Park YouTube. It's a great one. I
watched it earlier.
It's great. But essentially the idea of it is Lord Xenu, he was part of the Galactic Federation. And
we said that way too seriously.
I know.
Oh, of course.
The Galactic Federation.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Right up there with Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. But essentially, Lord Xenu was an evil dictator of this Galactic Federation and realized that overpopulation was a significant issue and got to a point to where, you know what, I want to trap them and then freeze them. And then they drop them ends up bringing up on their spaceship and then bringing him to, just so happened to come to Earth, and then dropped him in a volcano. They mentioned something about
Hawaii, right?
Something
supposed to be in Hawaii, or does it matter?
I don't think it has to.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's volcanoes everywhere.
That's okay. See, that's where I was starting to be like, maybe this isn't real.
Yeah,
you had me up until the volcano part.
Yeah, that's a little much. Yeah, but anyways, I think there's something to do with like a hydrogen bomb, but essentially the idea was that their souls came back up after they unfroze and the hydrogen bomb went off or whatever, and then they went back up and then they redispersed the entire Earth's population, and then that went into all of us. And the idea is that we need to be rid of those souls or what have you. But it's just like, what?
A lot of LSD, man.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, yeah, it's wild, but it's crazy but going back to the Masterson situation, it was him, John Travolta, and Tom Cruise. Those were like the three guys that were like the biggest in the entire organization, right?
Mhm.
And for years and years and years, they would protect him. There's even conspiracy to believe that he actually like committed even murder too. But
Masterson?
yeah, but it gets swiped under the rug. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, Scientology, the amount of money they bring in, it's absurd. Like, I think they're a private organization that's still in the billions. Don't quote me there, but it's quite a humongous organization.
Aren't they? They're still tax exempt, aren't they?
Which is crazy.
So they're religious. Which
I
means
think they were going under investigation, though. Let us know in the comments, because I don't know if I think it was up for question just because of this whole fiasco. And clear tie,
certainly a fiasco.
Hell of a quite a fiasco. But I don't know if you know the building in Clearwater, Florida. It is weird, like that blue building. It's just gives that. It's so culty,
ginormous Scientology,
huge. And I don't know if you've seen, but there's a guy on YouTube. He just posts shorts of him auditing, like I think his channel is like auditing Scientology, which is funny because they go through an audit in the beginning of their journey in Scientology, which you have to spend $50 to do. That's the first step. But anyways, he stands out because in Los Angeles they have a stronghold. Like I want to say like on the like Las Vegas like on the Boulevard. I don't know the area too well.
In LA?
Yeah. Well, you were just there actually. Las Vegas Boulevard. Is that a street?
Sunset Boulevard?
Maybe it's that. But yeah, essentially they have a Scientology stronghold there. And what they do is they're a bunch of nicely dressed younger men and women. And they mainly target a lot of people that don't speak English. So what they do is they try and create this like almost amusement park type situation. They're right next to like this Christmas festival thing. So like we're going to be watching a movie, like doing something entertainment wise. And they bring them in, they get them set up, and they try and get their name, phone number, and address. And apparently people 30, 40, 50 years later after they did that, they still get mail from Scientology.
I'm just picturing
their databasing. I need to figure their databasing out because I need that for my business. 40 years follow up.
Mm-hmm. Sam Maurer, the Scientology of loans.
Yeah, the Scientology approach
has a nice ring to it.
Scientology of Sam Maurer. Yeah,
and I'm just picturing them trying to recruit non-English speaking people. They have just these big cue cards with Lord Xenu. Like, so hear me out.
So technically, that Lord Xenu thing is like you don't get introduced to that story until you hit like very, very high level. I don't know what they call it, but I'm guessing in their C-suite executive type positions in Scientology or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's when you actually get introduced to Lord Xenu. But there's been so many people that have gotten out of Scientology that have expressed this story of just nonsense. It's just wild.
Can you imagine you are, a wealthy individual. You've been in Scientology now for 3-4 years. You've given them $500,000,
mm-hmm.
and you're kind of like, man, I don't really get what is going on here, but I'm still bought into the cause. I like what we're doing here. And then some psychopath comes out in a robe with a photo of Lord Xenu.
Yeah.
He's like, you have now progressed to where you can learn about Lord Xenu and the alien spaceships and the ice chambers and going into the volcano. And I believe that I am a reincarnated evil person from 75 million years ago. And you're just like, I just spent how much? I just spent $500,000 on this.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably where a lot of people lose their mind over the whole idea of it.
And you've spent so much money now, and you're so into it. You've signed a contract. The billion year
contract.
You sign a contract when you become a member of the church, and the term limit is 1 billion years.
Yeah. So that's
before Lord Xenu.
Yeah, that's before.
How can you even do that?
I know. I'm just curious as to how people do not figure it out before they get into it. Like there's so much information online now. Like back in the day, there used to not be, but now there's so many people like in the later early 2000s, I guess you should say, like people, that's when a lot of people started falling out and started figuring like things out of like they got out. But such a weird concept. If there's any Scientologists, let us know if we're wrong. Maybe it's the way of going clear. What's your experience?
Speaking of that, actually, that I think is like the head of public affairs in that documentary, Tommy Davis. You remember him? He's like, he kind of looks like,
oh yeah, he looks like a politician.
He's such a pinhead.
Yeah,
everything he says, it's like, so they were saying they got paid, these 15-year-olds had to work 100 hours a week, 38 cents an hour.
Crazy.
And this is like a witness testimony. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, actually, that is just impossible because we do not have that kind of labor for such young people. They are paid a fair wage, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you sound like a politician
I know.
up there.
It's like he's
disgusting.
PR trained.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story in that talking about how there was one woman that was pretty much told to go clean out the garbage
with a
toothbrush? Yeah.
It's
Wild.
actually, I think about it, it sounds a lot like rushing a fraternity.
Yeah.
I need to go clean that dumpster with a toothbrush.
And we have dues.
Yeah. And then after you're done, you have to go jump off that boat into the water.
Yeah.
And swim to shore.
At least you get to crack open a cold one.
Yeah, do they drink?
I don't know. I doubt it. They seem like they're just not fun. They just look like they're bored. Just working all the time. And our dues are significantly cheaper.
Unless you're at like Alabama or something, Florida State.
Yeah. And then we kind of do the opposite of going clear.
Going faded.
See you later. Yeah.
That 70s show was filming between 1998 and 2006. These charges that he has against him happened between like 2001 and 2003, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like while he was actively filming in the show.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was
It's crazy regardless, but
I'm pretty
it's like that hide that you're seeing, that cool hide in his El Camino ripping around is like, oh, that guy's a...
You know what's embarrassing too is that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, that they're married, they were defending him the whole time.
Uh-huh.
And because they knew him, they thought they loved him. He was part of the family of that 70s show. And then can you imagine issuing the apology? They issued an apology afterwards, sorry, we fucked up. He did definitely rape those girls.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
They said they did that?
Yeah. Well,
Or he did that?
So the orders of events was allegations came out. They defended him together. Then those allegations got confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oops. Then they issued an apology. That's how that went. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they were both on that 70s show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I honestly hate to say it, but I did not watch that 70s show all that much.
I loved that 70s show. It was like one of my favorite shows.
Was it really on for that long?
Apparently, like every other show, though, toward the end of it, you're like, okay, they could have stopped this a couple years ago.
What was the general premise of the show? It's just a bunch of friends.
A bunch of like high school kids from Wisconsin that just love to, hang out, smoke weed, and rip around town doing stupid stuff.
Rip around town.
Yeah.
Tell me about Phil.
The basis of wanting to talk about this is because I feel like a lot of people know what Groundhog's they've heard of it and everything, but like no one knows what it is.
I didn't even know what the shadow meant until you told me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, until I looked into it, I'm like, oh, actually.
So here, I'll just read this.
Yeah, tell me. Mm-hmm.
So February 2nd, 1887, it derives from the Pennsylvania Dutch superstition that if a groundhog emerges from its burrow on this day and sees its shadow, it will retreat to its den and winter will go on for 6 more weeks. If it does not see its shadow, spring will arrive early.
That's weird. You'd think it'd be the other way around because when it's sunny, you're going to be seeing more of a shadow. It just depends on where the sun is.
Yeah, none of this makes any sense. The groundhog, his name is Punxsutawney Phil.
I like how they had to throw like a basic white guy name in there to like make sure it's still relatable.
Yeah. So the reason is because Punxsutawney is a little town in Pennsylvania, and Phil, the groundhog, lives in Punxsutawney.
Oh,
That's
really?
why it's called Punxsutawney Phil. And so you might be wondering, Mr. Phil, the groundhog, what do you think his success rate is at predicting when spring will be? It's 39%.
I was going to say 40%.
Yeah. So it's 39% of the time he successfully predicts if spring is going to be a later one or an earlier one. And how they really determine when that is, I'm not sure. It's probably some month or something, but
People don't seem to care. They have a big old party every single year.
yeah. And so there's 5,700 people in this town.
And they all go.
It is at like 6:30 in the morning, especially that part. It's like 20 degrees at that time, probably colder. I mean, is there anything that would make you go to a social event at 6:30 in the morning outside and have to be like cheering? You should see this video. They have like this little like log thing and they wheel poor little Phil out there. He's in this tree stump and it has like a door on the front of it.
Not gonna lie.
And everyone's like, Phil.
Don't they bring him out like this? Like raise him out like Simba?
And so everyone's doing like a drum roll. Like people are amped up. Keep in mind, this is Pennsylvania, February. People are just trying to find an excuse to get drunk in the morning.
It's just cold, miserable.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
horrible.
I just want to leave my house and hammer a bottle of bourbon or,
something that's going to get me warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're chanting this groundhog's name. And then they open up his little door and pick him up and like do like a full Simba. And everyone's like, yeah! Phil.
I want to know, how do they know, where is the gauge of where's the shadow event happen?
Well,
like,
let me tell you.
Yeah.
So they have the tree stump thing that they pull this groundhog out of. Praise him.
Yeah.
So then they set him on the tree stump. And then this guy, who's obviously like the observer, this guy's like the president, probably just oust. Yeah. So, hey, Phil. You look like my ex-wife.
Talking to him like people.
Yeah. But no, they set him down there. And then this guy comes up like this, like just looking at him, just observing him. And then after like 10 seconds of this groundhog just not moving, he's like, it is settled. And they pick up the groundhog and then they pull out this scroll.
No.
And then they like, here, on this second day of February 2024. And they talk like that and they go through the whole thing. And then he's like, it will be an early spring. And everyone's like, yeah.
Is there an answer that people want or not want?
I don't know.
Or is it just like no matter what, Phil's the
Yeah, I mean, it's King Phil.
Yeah. He's just the king.
Probably the mayor.
He probably gets so much.
No. Nope. Nope.
I couldn't find anything anyways.
So before, we're almost done with this. So it wasn't always a groundhog. This part I thought was like really funny. Is like, I think this is over when it was like animals that hibernate. And so like that was like how this came to be, was like they wanted to know when spring was going to be or when spring was near. And if animals came out of hibernation, they thought it was
that
like
makes
a
sense.
natural sign that spring is near.
That makes sense.
They started not
the shadow thing just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. They didn't start with the groundhog. They started with a bear. And so
probably not as presentable on stage. Well,
no, it wasn't a stage thing, but they would like try to camp out and they'd be like, okay, so the bear cave's up there, early February.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, how do you run up there and just see like if he comes out or not?
I'm imagining just this like
who's starving.
Yeah. Yeah, and he literally is.
Oh, gosh. It's spring.
Yeah.
It's spring.
I couldn't tell a shadow. He was running at me.
And so for obvious reasons, we're like, okay, let's scratch the whole
we
bear.
Need a new game plan.
Yeah, wait, no more bear.
We lost Phil, so we need to commemorate him by
yeah. He's out of here.
Yeah.
But then they started using like badgers and foxes And it was just
Badgers are scary.
The same stuff where they would just get the shit kicked out of them. It's like, well, at least they know it's now spring.
Yeah,
they're like missing an ear. It's like late spring this year, guys. Late spring. And my fiance and I were talking about this. It's like where this whole idea.
You guys have a very intellectual discussion on this last night over a glass of wine.
Yeah. No, but we were talking about this like a couple months ago, like, and we were just saying how there is no way it wasn't just two drunk guys when they're like freezing their ass off in February. It's like, do you think spring's gonna come? It's like, I don't know, man. Let's ask that groundhog over there. Yeah, come here, Phil.
Yeah.
He's a little son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, bastard.
Yeah. That seems like more of an acid thing, man. It's like, you see this, Phil?
Yeah.
This guy's looking at me weird.
But yeah, so that's kind of, I guess, a little bit about Groundhog Day. So
hey, it's fitting. It's still February.
It is still February.
We got Groundhog Day and Masterson. What else do you need? I don't know if there's a joke there, and I don't really want to know if I want to create one.
In Scientology, they say you do have sex with animals.
No.
So, yeah, that's a real thing that I heard on a Reddit thread. So it's
yeah,
confirmed.
Because that is an article that you can trust. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the Sam Maurer Hour. If you are looking for a podcast that provides everything from comic relief to perspective from business owners to repair your credit, to be able to understand the mind of an appraiser, to understand the mind of a real estate agent, how to qualify for a home loan, anything and everything in between, this is the podcast for you. And what are you doing? Come on, subscribe. Make sure you're notified for every single video that comes out. Sam Maurer Hour.